Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Tavern of Tomes. My name is RK Fox. I am your tavern keeper, and I am joined today by my fellow storytellers, Kent Aldrich, Samuel Bowen, Christian Majewski, and Alex Oak. Unfortunately, Rachel is not able to join us for this episode. And together, we are going to weave a world of myth and legend. The walls of my tavern are lined with leather-bound books filled with blank pages. Once a week here at the tavern, we open a tome at dusk and fill its pages with stories. The world outside is dark and scary. It has its beauties, but they're hard to see at night. So for the time being, let's leave this world and go adventure, shall we? Now, last we left off, the party landed on Los Colores Vivos' floating island over Dragon's Yeux. While at the dock, they met Razier, the dockmaster, and a member of Los Colores Vivos' council. He told the party that he would send for a council meeting to be gathered, and while they waited, Straya and Weird asked a variety of questions, ultimately discovering that Los Colores Vivos is unlikely to have been the group that murdered her father. When a messenger returned with the news that the council had been convened, Razier led the crew to City Hall. Walking into the building, it was revealed that the council was comprised of nearly 200 community members in stadium seating, with 4 primary leaders on the main floor. Our heroes were walked to the center of the floor, and one of the primary leaders stood up, silencing the murmuring council. Turning the floor over to the party, who urgently selected Lucien as their spokesperson. Lucien proceeded to give an eloquent speech in which he declared their desire to recognize Los Colores Vivos as a nation and to begin the societal and economic integration with Los Colores with the Living Colors as a member of LIFO. He also left a slight deception in his message, claiming that they were sent here by Verlon Charbon III and not the 4th. Christian rolled a natural 20 on his persuasion check and was met with a 2-minute standing ovation and the resounding favor of the council. The individual who silenced the initial murmur silenced this ovation, and once the rest of the council had exited, introduced himself as Adrian Andres Cesar Caldera, and began to question Lucien regarding who really sent them, having seen through the deception of Verlon Charbon III. In the new privacy, Lucien revealed that a group seeming to be Los Colores Vivos came to Aleneaux and murdered their scion. Adrian offered that he could cast a spell to retrieve the memory and bring it to bear before them in this room. After a little deliberation and a sudden turn in Weird's health, Lucien decided to offer himself for the spell. Adrian did as he promised he would and recreated the events of that fateful day. Pulling up the vision up towards where the Scion's murderers were located, he cast Dispel Magic on the images of the killers, stripping away an illusion covering a wizard or sorcerer of some kind with a wand which was a product and property of Myth Unending. Adrian then pulled some kind of record of spells cast by Myth Unending employees and found illusion spells with timestamps and descriptions matching the illusions now laid before the party. Meanwhile, Dicebro rejected a jailbreak which was provided by the same Los Colores Vivos seeming individuals who killed the Scion, who claimed to have been sent by Dicebro's sister Rosewood. Dicebro reported this to the Scion, who had him released from prison, now much more trusting of Dicebro given his refusal to leave his cell, even when the wall was blown wide open. The Scion considered the events once they were explained to him for mere moments before beginning a sending to his sister Straya. Discouraged at having been sent on a wild goose chase, the party was preparing to leave when Straya received a message in her mind from the Scion stating that Los Colores Vivos was not responsible for their father's death and that they should return home to Aleneaux at once. The party asked Iareth, the dragon, for a teleportation back to Aleneaux, and he agreed. While final preparations were made, Weird began a long march toward death. Straya asked the ship's cook, Mateo, to make some sort of magical healing, but this failed, leaving Dicebro in worse condition than before Mateo's help. After teleporting back to Aleneaux, Iareth quickly left the party and returned to Alteran University's airship. On the steps of the palace, Straya lashed out at Lucien, suggesting with harsh tone that he might want to try and save Weird's life, if he actually cared about Weird at all. The party then rushed into the palace and up to the Scion's private war room, where they found Dicebro and the Scion prepared to discuss next steps. Lucien magically put Weird to sleep and then went to sleep himself in an attempt to dream weave Weird more firmly than last time. To his dismay, he found that Weird was nowhere in his dream, and he was instead alone on his curious island. In attempting to understand why Weird wasn't here, he began to mull over the many things he learned from Dreamweavers up in Dragon's Zoo many years ago, and he concluded that this space, wherever he is now, what he thought was his solitary dream, must in fact not be a dream, but perhaps some kind of vision. Given nothing else to do, he began to study the stars so that he might be able to locate this island again in the future. Back in the war room, the party began to catch up on recent events when Weird suddenly awoke, the sleeping spell having worn off on him. No solution to his affliction having been found, Weird's final moments began to transpire. Lucien was shaken awake and kind words were shared, and the gold and blue man before them began to fade into the dream he came from. When, with faint sounds of his hexlight runes falling to the ground, Weird left this world in earnest. With little time to lose, the Scion and the crew of the Tides Unsleeping, Dicebro at their side once more, began to discuss what they would do next. It was agreed that the Ravager ought to still be retrieved, and Straya asked Dicebro if he would take issue with Rosewood being killed, her life for Straya's father's. Dicebro claimed no moral high ground, and the conversation moved on. In the following days, Straya made necklaces for herself, Lucien, Lorenzo, and Vale from Weird's hexlight runes, which they now wear. Furthermore, Straya was offered a position on the Scion's Advisory Council, which she accepted after Lucien's encouragement. We pick up now as our party waits for 2 weeks for the return of the Tides Unsleeping, so they can begin the month of travel to Myth Unending to infiltrate the corporation in Mahrimont, and complete their mission to reclaim the Ravager and avenge the fallen Scion. Luckily, before the end of our last recording, Straya was able to do some downtime stuff, so now we're going to focus on the downtime activities of Dicebro, Lucien, Lorenzo, and Vale. Does anybody want to start?
I think Lucien is going to do, since he's in Aleneaux again, he's gonna do his usual kind of walking around Aleneaux, checking in with some people, checking in on his mom and stuff like that. At least for like the first couple of days. And I think he's gonna take Straya with him again if she would want.
Yeah, I imagine she would. Is there anyone in particular you want to pay attention to? Or any particular activity that you want to go pay attention to?
Not in particular necessarily. I think he would spend a little bit more time with Captain Trudeau.
Okay.
Just kind of discussing the recent events and all the things that transpired.
Yeah.
I will have some other things that I want to do later on, but that's going to be a little later.
Okay, sounds good. Why don't let's just jump to your conversation with Captain Trudeau. Do you think, I'm curious, how do you think a discussion between Lucien and Captain Trudeau transpires given their present relationship? Is it we reference every once in a while fights that they would have, which were their form of discussion, or do you think they meet now just regularly in her office as opposed to in sparring matches?
I think Lucien, how to say this? Lucien is a cocky little bastard. And so I think he will still take any chance to try and like prove his worth to her.
Okay.
So I think that if there are ever any like little bouts between them, he will probably just be like, well, if you really think what you think, well then let's prove it in the ring. right? That kind of thing.
Yes, for sure. I think absolutely that you're talking about recent politics, and she takes, just a slightly different, like, it's more a nuance than anything, but between the two of you, it's enough to become a discussion, which becomes a sparring match. Yeah.
So it's just a discussion between this friend group, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Basically, somebody ends up in a headlock.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's
like,
awesome.
I feel like Straya, I think especially now that Straya's with him, Lucian will want to show off even more.
Yes. Okay.
So it's more likely that he will end up in a sparring match.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to jump real quick to we're gonna do like a very simplified combat here, just to determine the outcome of this sparring match. We're gonna make just a series of athletic checks to determine who comes out on top on this one.
Yes.
Go ahead and just give me your initial athletics.
Okay, 1 sec. Sorry, my computer's being silly.
You're good.
D20. That's not good. That is, I do not have proficiency in athletics, so that's an 8.
Okay. She rolled a natural 17. Very quickly, she's got like a spear, just sweeps the leg, and you find yourself prone. Let's do the second one and see if this goes straight to a pin or if you can somehow take this back.
Okay, that's a little better. That's a 17 for me.
Okay, a 17. She rolled a natural 9, but she does have proficiency, which brings it to an 18.
Okay, so I think what Lucian's gonna try to do when she tries to like go and pin him down, he'll try to kick her like in the inside of the knee. To, like kind of try and prone her too.
Yeah, for sure. So I think what happens is you kick the inside of her knee and she loses a little bit of that balance. You are still pinned under the spear, but she is off kilter as well. We'll do one more and see if you can
see who takes it.
Yeah, maybe claim this back.
Not 20, baby. To a total of 22.
Okay.
Let's go.
We're gonna say you're able to basically kick up, and you guys are now on either side of this pole arm trying to push the other over. It's sort of a wrestling match, and you're at a draw at this point, because she would beat you if it weren't for the fact that you got a natural 20. So
yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Once again, I will say, at some point during this entire thing, Lucian's gonna look towards Straya, fix his hair.
Stop flirting. Stop flirting with teenagers.
I'm not flirting with teenagers. This is not flirting. It's just showing off. Excuse me, he's a father figure.
Yeah, stop vying for the approval of teenagers.
I'm old. I have to vie for their approval.
Fair enough.
They are the future.
Fair enough. So you go and you visit your mom, you visit Captain Trudeau. Is there anything anybody else wants to do? What do we got for downtime stuff?
I think that Lorenzo doesn't follow Lucian. And Lorenzo, with everything that was happening the last time he was quote-unquote home, for the first time in ages, he didn't really have a chance to, like, he and Lucian kind of walked around to some of their spots, but he didn't have time to himself to really kind of be in his childhood home. So most of what he's kind of doing is he's kind of walking around and like kind of going to all of the old spots that he would normally go to, right? Like if he had like a coffee house that he would go to normally, or or potentially like a bar that he would go to, and he'd sit there for a little bit. He'd walk past his mom's house and then find another place that he would go to. Then he'd walk past his mom's house again, and on a very weird route to a different place that he normally goes to. Then he'd walk past his mom's house again, and he kind of, at this point, he's kind of like, no. turns around. He's gonna walk up to the door, and he's gonna just kind of hold his. He's got his arm out. He's probably gonna sit there for probably a good 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. You hear a bottle crash against a wall inside.
And he's gonna turn around. He's like, all right, that's all I need. And he's gonna walk back down, and he's gonna go probably sit in a tavern and realize it's the same tavern that he and Lucian got beat up in.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna kind of relax for a day and cool off a little bit. He's kind of sitting there just like,
yeah.
And so,
Dice Bro, Vale.
I think Vale is first going to go and see if the... Oh, why is their name escaping me? The bad guys who were chasing Straya and I. Gosh.
Oh,
Vasham Klinga?
The Vasham Klinga,
Vasham Klinga.
the Order of the Astral Wardens.
Yes, yeah. Wait, is it them?
Well, so the Vasham Klinga, Grim Predation, their Order of the Astral Wardens, they're of the same religion, just a different subclass.
Right, yeah. Just, he's gonna go see if there's any noise about him and Straya in the city. Because they were around, they were hunting a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, just near the docks, around the taverns, looking at wanted posters, not being subtle and covert about it.
Yeah, for sure. Give me an investigation check.
Yeah, let me just figure out what my proficiency in that, because I forgot my... And these pictures are terrible. I think I do. Yeah. Gosh. That is... Investigations intelligence, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, it is.
Yeah. And what's our proficiency these days?
You do not have proficiency in investigation.
I don't? Okay, cool.
No. So it should just be a 0 for you.
It should just be a 0.
Yeah, the proficiencies I have for you are athletics, insight, intimidation, and religion.
Yeah, that sounds right. I rolled a 5.
That sounds even righter.
No evidence that you are being watched for.
Cool. Okay. And in that
be
case,
fair,
I think he's...
I was just going to say, to be fair, you guys have had on several accounts, one of the last times you were in Aleneaux, Straya spoke with Verlon III about having something done about it, and Lucian used one of his political connections to try and have something done about it. So odds are, if you're not finding anything right now, it probably doesn't exist anymore. You are probably off of people's radars, at least here in Domitia, in the Cyanarchy.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I think probably Vale just ends up in one of the taverns, striking up conversations and chatting with the dockhands and the sailors for the rest of the day, probably.
Is there any information you're trying to collect?
No, I think he could use a minute away from the group. He's been with everybody.
Yeah. Just wants anything to not have to be party work.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think he's just gonna stay and drink for most of the day.
Yeah, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. Dice Bro, what are you doing in this gap of time?
Yeah. And so here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
When he was part of the Tides Unsleeping,
Yes.
he had like a bank account, more or less.
Correct. Yeah, you had an account that was basically, the government was paying you and was paying you daily into an account that you could access. I think when Dicebro got arrested for murder, they probably liquidated those funds. You probably do not have money anymore.
Okay. So they'd probably go find that out.
Yeah, go ahead, give me an investigation.
Be like, oh, oops.
Give me an investigation check to find out if they got rid of your money.
But an 18.
On an 18, you are able to basically track down and find out they did in fact close those accounts, and if you ask the Scion about it at all, he will basically inform you that that is the funds from which you were fed while in prison.
Fair enough.
So here's a new question.
Yeah.
How much would that book that he has on magical creatures and things be worth?
Go ahead and give me your choice of an Arcana or History check to sort of appraise this.
That's exactly the same for either. I'll go Arcana.
Okay.
15.
With a 15, this is a pretty hefty tome, and this was a scholar's book. This was used by your parents, which is, they were high-ranking wizards. This book might sell for probably 100 gold. It's just finding a seller. That's your trick.
Mm-hmm.
Or finding a buyer, rather. Finding someone who would actually be looking for a tome of this category. You'd be looking more for a professor, a scholar, or like a really high-end bookshop.
Is there any universities around? Is there any bookshops to some high caliber? Can I kind of
go ahead, give me
that?
an investigation check.
Ooh, I believe that is a 22.
Well, the 22...
A dirty 20. A dirty 20. I lied.
Sounds good. With a dirty 20, what you find is a relatively nondescript bookshop. Doesn't have like a sign externally. It just has, you could see books basically lining almost the window. You can just see the spines of books. And when you get in, you're able to see that this is a relatively well-developed bookshop that just is sort of a hole-in-the-wall place. And you think you might be able to sell it here?
I would like to try and haggle for a higher price than I think it's worth. Just to see if I can get as much money out of this book as possible.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to real quick make I'm going to make an insight check, or not an insight check. I'm going to make a history or arcana check on my end to see what the seller would appraise it at. And then I'm going to make and then I'll have you make a persuasion check to see if you can talk him down from the price he lands on. Okay.
Alrighty.
So he also lands on a 100 value. What he'll give you though is basically say, I need to be able to make a profit on it. I will buy it from you for 75.
Let's see. Could I try? I want to try and get him to sell it to me for 85.
Okay, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
16.
Okay, I'm going to do a contested insight. All right, 85. Gives you 85 gold. I'll take it.
Great. Dice Pro's going to go back to the Scion.
Okay.
And figure out if there's any family connected to that one guard that he killed. And or the one that he also attacked who didn't die.
Yeah, for sure. There is. Yeah. Why?
I just wanted to have a anonymous donation of just and he'll just bring out the 85 gold and just be like, just so they can make do.
Bye. Yes. Do you wish this to go to one family, both families evenly divided? How do you wish to do this?
Whichever one needs more. I don't know if there's like health insurance or anything that like helps pay if the person who's injured will need more money, or if the person who died, their family will need more money. However, it needs to go.
How about this? I will give this to the Science Guard captain and have him identify the most appropriate distribution.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And he takes it, and you assume that he will get it off to the proper place.
Great. I will then go look for Vale and see if I can track him down.
Give me an investigation check. Vale, you said you're kind of looking for quiet. I'm assuming you'll be making a stealth check to stay away from the party?
He's far enough away that probably nobody's gonna find, like, nobody's gonna wander into the same tavern as him. But
yeah,
all four of us end up in the exact same tavern in the docks.
That would be really funny.
It would be funny.
Just give me an investigation check.
Yeah, I got an 8.
You cannot find him. It's a big city. There's a lot of people here. Vale is only one of them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you do not have the Tides Unsleeping for everybody to convene back to.
I think at this point he'll probably just wander around the city trying to find some place that looks interesting, but ultimately kind of just sightsee for a little bit.
Yeah.
And just kind of enjoy being able to walk around freely for a change.
Yeah, for sure. You enjoy the bayside breeze. You enjoy the calm demeanor of the city. You enjoy a larger than a 10-foot by 5-foot square area.
My favorite kind of area.
Yeah. Lucian, you mentioned wanting to do something on the tail end.
Yes, on the tail end of our time here in Aleneaux, Lucian's gonna try to use a little bit of his connections here.
Yeah.
To get a meeting with the Scion alone.
I think you don't even need to use your connections for that anymore.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't want Straya to know either.
I see.
Like anyone in the party either.
Gotcha. Yeah. In that case, you do reach out to some of your old ambassadorial connections. Yeah. Easy enough. You are able to reach out to some people, and you get a meeting with the Scion. I think he takes that meeting in the throne room instead of his war room.
Okay.
And just dismisses his servants. Lucien, how may I be of assistance to you?
Lucian's going to, do the whole bow and everything. There are some things that I wanted to discuss with you. A few things that I might also need to apologize for.
I also need to issue apologies.
And Lucian's gonna raise his hand and say, I acted out of hand the last time we spoke. Not the last time, but the time. You understand.
Yes.
And I simply wanted to apologize for that. But that's not what I wanted to apologize for that, but there might be some other things that I need to make you aware of as well.
Oh?
During our trip to the newly formed Los Colores Vivos, while we were there, we realized that they were not the threat. However, we were already there, so I needed an excuse for why we were infiltrating their space. And I may or may not have promised that I was sent by the Scion himself to recognize Los Colores Vivos as a part of LeFou and begin diplomatic tradings.
Well, that is a significant overreaching
Yes, it
as
is.
far as promises made. However,
With power that I do not have.
yes. However, if they did not, how did they receive this?
With standing ovations. But that might also just be my glory that influenced
Potentially.
them. Potentially. They seemed, but in all earnesty, jokes laid aside, they seemed to be thrilled. And touched and moved to a certain degree. I am not sure how to interpret that, but the people seemed desperate and out of control. And not out of control as in anarchy, but more out of control as in they do not have the firm leader that we have. They are trying to be a nation united by the people, but people are volatile. And people want many different things. And to appease everyone is to appease no one. And they seem like they need help.
Well,
And I wanted to bring this to your attention. Understandable if you need to strip me of my titles and rights. But these people seem to need our help.
on the contrary, I think it may actually be good for us to keep good on your promise. If
I
they
am worried about the next words that are about to come out of your mouth.
if they did not kill my father, then perhaps this is a relationship that we, by stepping into it quickly, will be able to mold and shape more than if we left the molding and shaping to them.
That is wise, my king, my scion.
I think I should take this to the advisory council, but I do not see reason to strip you of title. You are still an ambassador. Maybe you overstep, but
It makes me good at my job.
it makes you good at making sure that we have fine relations with other countries. And that I will take.
And there is another matter.
Yes.
Now that my head is still attached to my body, let me try and lose it one more time. There is another matter that I wish to discuss with you.
All right.
And that is the matter of and he looks around to make sure that nobody's in the room.
You see his fingertips flash real quickly. You're fine.
Your sister.
Yes.
She is of the same blood.
Yes.
And over the past months that I've traveled with her, she is a brave heart and a good heart, though reckless.
Yes.
I couldn't live with myself if I didn't make sure that when everything is said and done, that she doesn't find her place in her house. And this is me once again overstepping. And I do ask your forgiveness for that. But I've grown quite fond of the girl. And I will make sure that at the end of all of this, she comes back alive. Even if it costs me my own life. And I would hate to see her turned away from her birthright.
While I am not able to make extreme alterations to what my father and his father would have done in this situation, I am able to start rolling the ball in the right direction. Straya will never be turned away from the palace, even if she may not in her lifetime be able to sit upon the throne, as is her birthright.
I will never pretend to understand the weight set upon your shoulders. I owe the scion, your father, everything that I am. Without him, without the kindness of the Scionarchy, I would be dead in the docks. But she is part of the Scionarchy too. And I want to believe that the people that showed kindness to me and my humble family show kindness to their own kind too. And this is not a threat. This is not demanding. I am overstepping, I understand. Like I said, I've grown quite fond of the girl. And I hope that you have too.
Perhaps against the wishes of my grandfather, but not my father. I have as well. I will never be upset at having a sister.
You should tell her that. Because I cannot even begin to understand the storm that her emotions must be in right now. I think it would be important to hear that from you.
Communication is a process, a difficult one.
Maybe for other people, not for me.
Well, you have spent many years working on it.
Well then, let me step into the role of mentor to the young king for 1 second and simply say, communication is a process, but being direct and being kind has never hurt anyone. It only made it stronger.
Thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome, Your Majesty.
I wish to issue an apology to you as well. Coming out of my father's passing, made a series of heavy-handed moves which were unnecessary because I could have simply asked for help. And I wish you to know that I am deeply sorry for all the ways in which my neglect of your love of my father would have been easier to appeal to than trying to force you into servitude.
I appreciate that. I never knew your father, but I admired him greatly. And it takes a brave spirit to apologize to one who is lower than them. And despite my temperamental reaction in the moment, I think you are feeling his shoes quite well. I am excited. I'm excited to see what your reign will bring. My scion. And he's gonna bow again.
I think he stands up from his throne, walks down the steps to meet you on the throne room floor.
When he starts going down the steps, Lucian will fall on one knee.
You're going to hear in your mind, as he casts the command spell. Stand.
Oh, well, I think I'm already standing.
You have earned the right not to kneel to me.
I don't think he says anything.
Thank you for your counsel. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your service.
I think tears are welling up in Lucian's eyes.
Now, before I do anything mushy, and he turns around to walk back to the throne, you are dismissed.
And Lucian literally does this. Turns around and walks right out.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next day, the Tides Unsleeping makes port in Aleneaux. You guys are able to board the ship, and we are real quickly. Actually, one more thing before the Tides Unsleeping makes it back. This is not something which any of you would necessarily learn, but Straya would learn, and it's relevant for you to know now. And so, since she's not here, I'm just going to inform you all. There's a...
Everyone died?
What?
Oh. I thought we were learning everyone's dead now.
No.
Anyways.
This has actually just all been a dream.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually the whole campaign. Has been a... No. There is an announcement for Hexlight users. There is a new feature that is coming to the Hexlight, product of Myth Unending, based on some recent research they were able to do. This new feature is called Hex Time. It separates the passage of time in the world outside the Hexlight from the user's experience of time while using the Hexlight. So basically, you could use the Hexlight for an increased duration of perceived experience while real time slows down comparatively. This is optional. It's not a required feature, but it is a feature that will be kicking up in about 4 weeks, which is just shy of a month. And this announcement comes, I think, the same day, Lucian, that you go to meet the Scion. As a reminder, your travel to Myth Unending is going to be just about a month. So this will probably kick in about a week prior to your arrival. Potentially more, potentially less, depending on whether you decide to, like, how you decide to get to Marimont, where Myth Unending is. So Tides Unsleeping makes it in. You guys are able to reconnect with everybody on the ship. Neve did come back to the ship, did not stay with Los Colores Vivos. Everybody makes it back safely. We're going to cut now to travel. We're not going to do a full month of travel because that would take ages. What we're instead going to do is I just want to know from you guys, there are 2 different ways that you can travel to Marimont from Aleneaux. You can travel northeast to Avito on the south of Enval, and then travel across land to Eberron, and then cut up and across to Marimont by sea again. But you would only get to travel on the Tides Unsleeping for about half of that distance. Or you could travel all the way around up through the north opening, the North Gulf on Vol, but that would increase your travel to probably about a month and a half. So that's really a, sort of a you guys decision of, are you going to want to abandon the Tides Unsleeping, or not abandon, but just leave it to port, leave it to dock about halfway through your travel, or are you going to want to, extend your travel and travel by land for a portion of that?
I think traveling by land sounds fun, but that's just me.
If anybody
it
makes
sounds
me leave this
fun,
boat
but
for any longer, I might slit their throat.
Alex probably wants to go by land, but Lorenzo definitely wants to stay on his boat.
I will say, Lorenzo is going to get 2 full weeks on the boat regardless.
I know.
I just want you to be able to consider that.
I know. I don't know. I do imagine a conversation between Lucian and Lorenzo of Lorenzo getting to the point of near pouting because he doesn't want to leave the boat.
Yeah, for sure. Vale, Dice Bro, how we feeling? What are we thinking?
I think Vale doesn't really matter one way or another, or doesn't matter. Gosh, it doesn't mind one way or another.
Vale doesn't matter at all. That's actually been his whole plot in the story is we figure out he just doesn't matter.
Oh.
Never did anything of significance.
Nothing interesting going on there. Cool.
No. Yep.
Okay, so
yeah, I think Vale is gonna push for the shortest time.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Why
Dice
stay
Bro
on the
would too. I was going to say, whichever way is shorter, which I think you said was the land?
yeah, traveling by land will speed up because
And when Lucian offers his threat, Vale's just gonna look him up and down and definitely do the.
When
I
the-
can probably take him.
Lorenzo offers
I could become a
threat.
bear.
When
I can become a
when
bear.
one
Don't
of the
forget
brothers,
that.
Whose name starts with L and is not me, says that he'll slit my throat. I'll do the.
I can take you.
I can take him.
Okay, so it sounds like the consensus is to travel by land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shreya, what do you think? Oh, I think it's better to go by land. Awesome. Thanks.
Fantastic. Yep. Since we're all in agreement,
Right there.
since we're all in agreement, we are gonna pick up the next session when you guys get to Marimont and make your way to Myth Unending. So, as we finish this chapter. Does anybody have anything they want to plug? I also want to mention, this time, because turnarounds are weird, this episode comes out tomorrow, so you can advertise things that happen really soon.
Sweet.
That's kind of crazy.
That's kind of weird.
In that case, if it comes out tomorrow, as in Saturday,
Yes.
tomorrow on Sunday, March 15th, I've got a concert. Me and my band, Kin, I talk about them every single episode. We've got a concert coming up. Reese will be drumming for us. It'll be at the Gallery Cabaret. Doors open at 6. You can, if anybody listen to this is in Chicago, you should check it out. We're there with a bunch of comedians, a couple other bands and artists. It's a kind of comedy variety show with a bunch of live music and then a handful of like improv comedians stand up. It's gonna be really sick. And then, as always, Magic Missile Minis. I've been updating my Patreon stuff a little bit. I'm going to be doing some live stream content this Tuesday on the 17th. So you can go to YouTube. I'll be doing a live stream there of just like doing some catching up on painting and stuff like that. Check out my YouTube channel. I'm doing stuff over there. Magic Missile Minis and Kin.
Ooh. Anybody else?
Have anything?
No from
Yeah,
Christian. Ken,
go
what you got?
check me out on Substack. There will actually be something up there probably tomorrow. I just have to import it in there. So it's the first paper I wrote for my master's degree and got it turned in after pulling an all-nighter to write it.
Whoa.
So, well, I'll tell you guys that story. So go check it out. Should be a lot of fun. But there will actually finally be something there. So, yeah.
Noise.
Noise.
Yeah, samuelbowen.substack.com. I think I've been meaning to put up a new thing on my Substack for a while, so this might be the push. We throw something up tonight, so yeah, it'll be there. Yeah.
All right. And if nobody's got anything else, let me get to my outro. I should know this by now. Thank you all for joining us. Oh, patreon.com/Tavern of Tomes, capital T, and Tavern and Tomes. And thank you all for joining us. You're always welcome here at the Tavern. And come back next week because the story's not over yet. We love you all. Good night.